So I'm jazzed. We're jazzed. We're in a good mood. Do-do-do, do-do-do. So I'm jazzed. We're jazzed. We're in a good mood. Do-do-do, do-do-do. So I'm jazzed. We're jazzed. We're in a good mood. Do-do-do, do-do-do. So I'm jazzed. We're jazzed. We're in a good mood. Do-do-do, do-do-do.
Hi, welcome to me. Hello everybody, good evening, Sky and Bug and Punky and One and Ali and a Girl Scout and Krusty. Hello Ashley, hello Snacky, hello JMC, hello Silent Angel Tears, hello Rex, hello Krusty, hello Lydia, Punky, Cruella, Jennifer, hello everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on where you are on this beautiful planet. Thank you so much for joining me for yet another ad hoc, a live stream. Are y'all jazzed? Are you jazzed, Lottie? Hello, hun. Happy Thursday. Hi, everybody. Steven, a pleasure as always. Candy Corn Panda, Front Range Mama. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you all so much for joining me today. So, for those of you who aren't aware, Chantal went live. Chantal went live for 53 minutes. Chantal was not on camera. Guess what we're not doing? We're not watching Chantal. Instead, we're doing a little bit of a retro Rosie. This is content supplied by the fabulous Lottie. So, shout out to Lottie. Chat, make sure you thank Lottie. We're going to be watching The Time I Was Medically Kidnapped, Anchor Mental Hospital story time, and I went to the psych ward again. These are pieces of content that have been uploaded within the last year, I believe? Oh no. The medical kidnap story time is from February 24, 2024. So this is fun. This is all a little bit of backstory for Rosie, some health talk, some hospital talks. You know we love a retro. Lottie, thank you for being here for 55 months, honey. Lottie says 55 months into getting jazzed with you fabulous folk. Everybody's jazzed. It's good to see. Thank you for your support, honey, as always. 5150. Well, Carolyn, that does get brought up, yes. We're going to get straight into it, actually. We're just going to get straight into it because I'm sure we all have a lot of questions and a lot of things to say. So, hi, my name's Zach. Lovely to meet you if you're new, and thank you very much for returning. If you are coming back, I'm not a mental or physical healthcare professional, just a guy who listens, talks about things on the internet, and watches way too much of too many people. Also, not here to bully, shame, hate, harass, or humiliate. Just here to talk about the produced and monetized content that we see here on this platform, because it's all about what choices. Choices about what we say, choices about what we put on the internet. Choices. Also, weirdly, I have a hot beverage this evening, which is super strange. It is sugar-free hot chocolate. I'm going to see how it goes. I'm jazzed. Anyway, let's get to, shall we? I do miss the intro. I haven't even seen the intro that many times, but I just think it's iconic.
I'm just doing my best even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get.
Oh, the boxing. It's really this part that's coming up here.
I do try to stay positive, but I also stay real. And this is fucking real right now. Hi, welcome to me.
Yeah. Oh, cat's pajamas. How fun.
Today's video is a really serious subject matter. I'm going to put a heavy trigger warning for this video. It is going to be a story time style, I guess.
Chat, trigger warning. Lots of discussions.
I'm just going to freely talk and tell a part of my story
Welcome to me.
that I feel like for the first time in my life I'm ready to talk about in a way that's not from like a completely traumatized
I know, Lottie, it's weird. I don't understand it either.
state. I feel like the 4-year anniversary just passed of this event.
Sky, I haven't watched it all the way through. No. Is this in her bedroom? I believe yes. Yes, we are in the bedroom. Chat, we're in the bedroom. Let's have a sticky beak around. What have we got? What have we got here? I don't know if those are Barbies or angels. Could be either. I mean, we've got a rainbow flag over there, so that's nice. I think that's a candle. No, I think that's a can of Diet Coke. Yeah, okay, Diet Coke with the angels and a pride flag. Love that. We've got a dream catcher up here. There's an ear, some squishmallows, tat. What else do we got? A lamp. I don't know what that's a painting of. Is that the White House? I don't know. And Rosie. Have fun.
It's been 4 years. And I think this time last year I wouldn't have been nearly as ready. I've talked about this story offhandedly here and there, but I haven't gone very in-depth. But I found something today, and so I want...
Oh, are they Christmas tree toppers? Yeah, they kind of do look like angels that you'd put on a Christmas tree, huh?
I'll talk about it.
Oh, she's got a hat back there too.
So trigger warning, there's going to be really serious trauma mentions here. Like, I guess some people may consider this trauma dumping, but I'm giving you a fair warning. I am going to be kind of skating around other parts of the story and focusing mainly, I think, more so on the 5 days that this specific event took place, where, if you read the title, yes, I've been medically kidnapped before.
I put it in the thumbnail, chat. Are you all liking the quotes in the thumbnails? I think they're working great.
And I think a lot of people don't even understand what that term means. It was something I found...
Oh, medical kidnapping in this context with abusing involuntary hold practices is in regards to being... Okay, this... Does this sentence make sense? Read it properly, Zach. Medical kidnapping in this context with abusing involuntary hold practices is in regards to being held against your will when, capital U for unable to consent properly due to medical malpractice. The term, capital I, is more common in reference to the state using doctors to take custody of children. Girl, those two sentences did not make sense. Let's invest in a comma here.
Out about a bit after the fact. But, you know, this event involves very light mention of an essay event. It also really significant abuse at the hands of medical professionals.
Lily, thank you for gifting your channel membership, honey. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support.
Not only to myself, but to elders and other people. And
seems like she doesn't know what she's talking about. I mean, not in that pop-up text.
Specifically talking about mental health inpatient facilities and what that can be like in American healthcare. This is my story about Anchor, College Park, Georgia.
All right.
Anchor is a mental hospital located in College Park, Georgia.
I'm going to slow this down because this is 1.5 times speed, and that fan in the background is going to drive me bonkers.
It was over an hour from where I lived at the time and where I grew up. I grew up in North Metro Atlanta, and I had moved back there in 2019. I had a really rough 2019 just in general. 2 weeks before this event, I quit my job, obviously unrelated, but I've been working for a pretty horrific workplace. It's the only job I've ever walked out on. It's the only job experience where I feel like I dealt with like abusive management and staff, and that's a whole separate story. But I was floating in life, and I was really, really deeply unhappy, and I had just gotten back...
Silent, go for it, hun. I can't tell you whether or not this one's delicious yet.
Together with my ex, but we were under the understanding that we were in an open relationship for the first time ever.
Oh my god, she was in an open relationship? Is this the ex in Ohio? Is this that one? Girl, there's so much lore. My vault overfloweth. It's not a euphemism.
Prior to that, it had not been that way. And I had been going out partying, meeting a lot of people, doing a lot of things, and I had made a lot of friends that year.
Oh, was he a feeder by any chance? Because she talks about 2019 as like her party year, and I'm maybe wrongfully assuming that her parties just involved a whole heap of feeders. Because that's what it sounded like.
I don't really speak to anyone from that period of my life because of just how off course I was. I was so not...
Oh, it is the Avalanche one, King Otis. Oh, it's a little metallic. Oh, that's a shame.
Me. Like, anyone that met me in 2019, they didn't fucking know me. They knew the most broken version of me. They knew the most toxic version of me. They knew the most, frankly, strung out version of me. I was so addicted to THC vape carts.
I'm sorry, what? Run that one by me again. Sorry, what?
Version of me. They knew the most toxic version of me. They knew the most, frankly, strung out version of me. I was so addicted to THC vape carts.
Is she saying THC vape carts? Or cards? Not Who said Pokemon cards? Vape carts. What's oh, cartridge. Oh, she just means like a vape, right? Just like a THC vape. Oh, girl. Well, tell you what, 2025 didn't get much better. You're still reliant on THC beverages at this point in time, so not good. Strung out, you guys.
That
strung out on the ganja.
To this day, I still have a bump
The devil's lettuce, as they would say.
on my skull where
Strung out on vapes. I believe, okay, this is another note to say. I believe I was given black market carts from someone for a good portion of this time. Were they laced with something? What do you mean, black market carts? Also, who calls a vape a cart? What is this?
is that right here? That
Oh gosh, she's about to tell us about her bump.
that to this day, I still have a bump on my skull. Where is that? Right here. That formulated because I abused them so heavily. One day, I felt such severe pressure in my head as I was smoking it. I felt this bump formulate, like pop up in my skull, and
Hang on, I'm gonna need a medical professional. You were hitting your weed vape cartridges so hard that you got a bump on your head. I'm gonna need some help on the science of that one. How's that how's that work? Hey, how's good to see you, hon. How's that work though? A bump on your forehead from weed vapes. Is that like a blood pressure thing? That might be an iron thing. Iron strong.
at one point when I finally had a neurologist touch it, like no one's just taken it seriously yet that I've seen. So
Go to a dermatologist. It's probably like a cyst or something.
I did get a head scan. Like at some point I got a CT scan, but I'm too fat for an MRI or anything else to like kind of figure out what happened. But I've not really been the same since. So don't THC vape. Don't vape. Period. God, don't vape.
Yep, those black market vapes, they'll give you bumps on the head, chat.
Just kind of want to set
You watch yourself.
the scene. January
Did she get it, Lance? That's what I'm thinking.
1st
So someone's gonna have to ask her modern day about the bump on her head.
was coming up, and I knew that when the new year came in, I wanted just to hit the job hunt, try to find something better, because I was living in the red. I was on the verge of being homeless. This was the beginning of a long stretch of period of housing crises for me during the COVID pandemic and all of that. So obviously I didn't know that at the time, but I walked out. I was really
Hey, Lindsay, good to see you, honey. Do you know that Rosie has a bump on her head from THC vapes?
depressed at
I'm learning so much today.
Christmas. I spent Christmas with some friends of
Also, are you jazzed for Anna's strongman competition entry?
mine, and then I had like a ton of opportunities to go out for New Year's. I could have gone to downtown Atlanta, gone to a nightclub. I had multiple house parties I was invited to. I was just very social in 2019.
Right.
I was like heavy in like the BBW scene in Atlanta at the time.
I knew it. They were a bunch of feeders she was hanging out with. She's told stories about 2019, and it does just sound like she's hanging with a bunch of funlers. Would that be like that would be their cool like gang name, right? Like if there were, there's the Jets, the Sharks, and the funlers. Yeah.
And I went through my wild phase in 2019, to say the fucking least. And I decided to play it safe. I had a bad feeling about New Year's, ironically enough. And so I thought it would be safe if I went up to an hour north.
Oh, that's not worth it. It tastes so thin. I'm gonna make a creamy out of this, I think. I don't think this is for beverages. I think this is for ice cream. I'll drink it, but I don't think it's worth it.
To me, to like the mountains in up near Fort Mountain was the location I went to, because there was a married couple that I was friends with. Something happened that night that I'm not going to get into in this video because that's not the point of it. But that event changed the entire trajectory of my life.
Asha, no, this was uploaded early 2024, and she's storytelling about 2019, 2020, I believe. So, no, not that recent. The retelling is recent.
It is single-handedly the most traumatic thing that I've experienced. It was the catalyst of the most traumatic period of time I've had as an adult. I was already diagnosed with PTSD for several years at that point.
I thought That was CPTSD. You know what? It might be both at this point in time. Who am I to question?
I was, prior to my ex and I breaking up the first time and me moving to Georgia.
Well, she was apparently in an open relationship, so it wouldn't surprise me if she was a third with a married couple. Oh, messy, messy Rosie. I live.
I was doing a lot of EMDR therapy and working on myself, and that all stopped when I moved to Georgia, and we kind of stopped therapy at that point in an inopportune time.
I lost my insurance benefits and access to my trauma specialist. Right.
And I was not in a good place. I really can't stress that enough already to begin with. And I could not figure out how to function on my own. I was just drowning in bills and life, and it was my friend.
Yeah, what does like a throuple like feeder situation look like? Because I'm familiar with the concept of like an Eiffel Tower, but how does it work with funnels? I should stop asking questions. Lily, thank you for the super chat, honey. Lily says, thanks for making my day once again. You are so welcome, hun. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it.
First time like really ever being alone, and I wasn't doing well with it. After that event, it happened at about 2:20 in the morning, January 1st, 2020.
Hey, Fit.
And when I finally got home, got out of the situation, that started a 72-hour mental breakdown that I barely remember. I was just trying to pretend that I was.
She says she barely remembers it, but she has some very fine details when it comes to the story. Just FYI, the tower bridge with funnels. Was there what's like a double-ended tunnel? Because I feel like funnels like need gravity, right? So it's like it's got to be like it's not like a bridge or a tower. It's like an under situation type of deal.
Okay, when I was clearly like unable to function, and I thought that if I just like pretended everything was fine and I just kept doing everything I was doing prior to that moment, that I would be okay.
Yeah, but what's like an iconic tunnel?
I was kind of freaking out about the situation, and I was calling people that I thought were my friends. Like I mentioned, I was a part of a party scene, and so when things get real, party friends don't stay. I had a best friend at the time.
The funnel tunnel. I need to stop talking.
Who I thought was my best friend. Who, when she was in a situation with a man that was very abusive and dangerous, I helped her get out of it. Most importantly, I believed her because this man had a position of power in this group of people. But when it came to my event,
Gosh, this secret society of feeders. It's such a mystery.
she was really weird about it for a day or two until the crux of the moment when all this story really starts with the hospitalizations.
Hey Lime, good to see you, love. This was uploaded February last year. This is a story time about 2019.
I remember when she finally reached out to talk to me, I was at a restaurant with two of my ex-coworkers. My favorite restaurant. If anyone knew back then knew that I was obsessed with Iron Age. It was all you can eat Korean barbecue. Their food's incredible. If you ever get to go to an Iron Age, they're all across they're like in random parts of the country. It was my favorite restaurant for many years. I was sitting outside when she video chatted me, and she proceeded to tell me that I was overreacting about the event that had happened, that it was all a misunderstanding, and that I just needed to talk to him like she was there. That was the moment I snapped. That was the moment that broke me. That was the moment that I remember. I was at the restaurant. I got food all over me because I was trying to eat and I was shaking so hard. And God bless those two people that were with me. The girl that was there with me, she really helped me try to get through it. And I walked out to my car. At some point, I had to leave. Like I couldn't be in public anymore.
Oh, no worries, Lime. Stephen, you asked a very important question. It's a whole world of funneling. It is. Do you think they put down plastic sheets? Because of the mess. Yeah, I'd imagine so. Probably. It'd probably be a good idea.
And I needed to
just like a tarp? That's probably easy, right?
go home. On my way to the restaurant, before that conversation happened with this person that I like immediately blocked. On my way there, I was driving, and there was this like merge lane.
Oh, Sky, I don't know if I can see it. Sorry, love.
They were doing construction, and so like there was this like really big cement mall, and this very like quick merge lane.
Oh, there it is. Barbecue Veronica Chronicles says she had a threesome, but then accused the couple of SA. That was when she was kicked out of the swingers community in Atlanta. Oh, it all lines up. Thank you, Barbecue Veronica. I appreciate it. That all lines up because her story was like, this is all in the same time period as like, I left the feeder community. I wouldn't even be welcome back even if I tried, blah, blah, blah. So it was like a bunch of swinging feeders. Right. Okay, got it. What do we call them? Fingers.
Immediately blocked. On my way there, I was driving, and there was this like merge lane where they were doing construction, and so like there was this like really big cement mall, and this very like quick merge lane in this one road that I had to take to get to the restaurant. And I remember for a very brief moment thinking to myself,
Sweeters is a good one.
like I could just not turn the steering wheel, and like hitting the gas. And I, for the first time in my life, really seriously considered making a decision that was permanent. And then I like, obviously last second was like no, like that's not you talking, Rosie, you know what I mean? I was able to cope in that moment, but I was already at that point. And then while we were eating, after I had blocked her and everything, I was trying to eat, like I mentioned, and I mentioned
Your story is all over the place. You've gone from like having kind of invasive thoughts while driving to eating at a Korean barbecue place with two other people to then taking a FaceTime call or video call or whatever outside with food all over you. Like, I'm gonna need this story time cleaned up. I'm gonna need everything about this cleaned up.
food on the shirt because that's an important detail later. But I received a text message at the table, which is one of the reasons why I had to go, and it was from this girl's boyfriend. That's a whole fucking story in its own. But
Wait, I thought you were the third in the couple, the feeder swingers, the Sweeters.
he told me that he was upset that I removed him from a group chat because he was dating this person, and obviously it was like my group chat, so I wasn't going to keep him in it when they were together and she's being a R-word apologist. It's not gonna happen.
Oh god, this is so messy. Also, wait, hang on, isn't he the one that you're saying was the assaulter in all of this? You wouldn't want him in a group chat? Why is he talking to you? Ew, block, ew. Yeah, kick him out of the group chat. Shut the whole group chat down.
So,
Also, what boy toy? I thought they were in a relationship and you were the third. What is this story?
he told me to end it quickly and quietly, it being my life. And that was when I snapped. Because at first it was like I broke, like in a brand new way that I didn't know I could break after, quite frankly, the worst 3 days of my life, where I just was dealing with some kind of trauma episode that I didn't know how to cope through. So I get to my car and I'm melting down in a way I've never melted down in my life. I know I talked to multiple people.
Again, this is like, I have no idea of any of these concepts, thank goodness, touch wood. I'm confused how this story time came about from you talking to your friend, the woman in this situation, and not like the essay stuff. Because it seems, I don't know, it's just the way that she's telling the story seems particularly focused on like that interaction, not like the interaction with him, which is kind of weird for me, but okay.
People. I don't remember how many or who, except for my mom, because my mom was the last person I was on the phone with. And I believe she was living in Norway at the time. Norway or Florida.
Steven, that's really good advice, actually, hon. I should pin that. Don't get in group chats with people who are your feeder fetish thruple fucking. Yeah, we're going to replace the pin message. There we go. That's the message of the day, chat. That's not even a shame pin. That's just a sensible pin.
Probably Norway. The only part I remember was when I was like belligerently screaming. I can't say it other than like, I felt so out of control. I didn't know what to do. And I remember just screaming the word why over and over and over again about what had just happened. And then I paused. I remember like, I was just screaming that word over and over again. And then I stopped and I went, Mom, I need to call 911. And she goes, okay, please do that. And so I'm not in my right mind.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
And
Group chats are so messy.
I tell them that like I need help. I need help. Like I needed some kind of fast track care. I needed help.
Wait, were you out to dinner with your friends at this point in time? What were they doing?
And it's a really important detail to note here that I didn't
Enjoy your Jello cup, Baruch.
have insurance. They took me to my local ER at the time. They gave me some kind of sedative.
Right.
When they came, like, I was being symptomatic, but I wasn't screaming and belligerent at that point. I wasn't, like, acting out in any way. I just was, like, uncontrollably sobbing and extraordinarily symptomatic through my trauma responses of everything that was going on. And, whatever they gave me, I still don't know. I'd have to, like, pull medical records. Made me...
Maybe you should do that, because this happened 4 years before you before this telling of the story. I would be very interested to know exactly, you know, what someone jabbed me with in a hospital.
Incoherent. It made me even more out of it than any state I was in at that present moment. I remember, like, sleeping and coming in and out of consciousness. I remember a doctor walking into the room. I remember, like a wavy, like, kind of fuzzy visual. Like, I remember my visual and hearing being impaired. I remember not being able to understand what the doctor was telling me, that he was explaining things to me.
Yeah, I think if I'd have had an experience like this, I would have liked to have known what had happened in the hospital.
Barely even looking at me, and he was holding a sheet of paper to me. In the moment, I didn't know what I was looking at. I couldn't understand it. I didn't know what I was signing. He explained it to me, and then I was trying to ask questions, and I couldn't fully form sentences. And
where were your friends in all of this? She was out to dinner with friends, called 911, and somehow ended up in an ER with a sedative. I'm gonna need someone to clean this story up. Stephen, thank you for the super chat, honey. Stephen says, my mum taught me that. Stop it. Shout out to Stephen's mum.
What he finally said that, like, made sense to me in that moment was, you have to sign this or the state won't cover your care. So I signed it, not understanding that I was signing an involuntary hold piece of paperwork and what that meant at that time.
Can someone also help me with the phrase involuntary hold? Because I thought that was involuntary. Why are we needing... Do you need to sign off on an involuntary hold? I didn't... What? Again, chat. Literally on the other side of the planet, no idea how this works. Please feel free to let me know.
I believe it's called a 5150 in Georgia.
Oh, or a 1013. They've got all these fun names. It's involuntary, it's voluntary. Okay, well, that's mixed messages.
And again, I didn't have insurance. So I stayed in the ER for 2.5 days. So what's that? About 60 hours? For 2.5 days, I stayed in the ER.
Right.
Had they kept me another 12 hours, they could have released me.
Okay, so an involuntary hold is a 3-day hold? A medical hold? Is that what that is? Mandatory psychiatric hold of 72 hours. Right. So she said, yes, let's do that, and she was there for 2.5 days, but not the full 3 days. Okie dokie.
They were struggling to find a place to send me to because I didn't have insurance. This past year in 2023, when I talked about going to the mental hospital, like I've talked about that previously on my channel, I had a very different experience because I have good insurance now. But I even then advocated for a hospital bed because I knew that they had cots in mental hospitals, and I was promised that I would be sent somewhere that had a hospital bed.
Right.
The only place that would take me was Anchor. Now I know why. I had to take over an hour-long ambulance ride to this facility, and I just remember being really bored. I was being in the ER in the...
What a... Sorry. Okay, I've not had a psychotic break, so I'm not really sure. But I don't think if I did, my recollection would be, yeah, I had to take an hour-long ambulance ride and I was really bored. Like, what? That just seems like a really weird take if you're in the midst of a psychotic episode. That you're like, yeah, it was really boring. Okay.
That in the psych ward for 2.5 days is a lot. I colored a lot. Um, and the staff was a lot nicer there, but I did not realize what had transpired prior. I didn't fully understand how all of this was going to play out until
Monkey, you take care of yourself, honey.
I got to Anchor. And what inspired this video at all was I repackaged all my like childhood stuff, and I guess in the midst of me like sorting things, I have very few things left from everything that happened after the span of the story, because this all started on like January.
Okay, so real question. Barbecue Veronica, you seem to know the tea. You know what's up. The ex in Ohio, was he in on the like feeder scene situation type of deal? Because like I'm trying to just piece together the timelines, and like 2019 in particular is real like messy, which I love because there's lots of story times, but also just trying to get a grasp, you know? Short answer, yes. Okay.
3rd or 4th.
Right, got it.
I'd have to pull up the exact dates or whatever. And then
we need the whiteboard.
It went on for a total of 5.5 days. But I found something that I kept initially for evidence purposes, because for a couple years I was really obsessed with the concept of suing people and getting justice because of how unjust everything that I experienced was.
Like with your friend group or with the like medical care? Because I don't know if she's got an issue with what happened at the ER or not. And again, like, the whole retelling of this story does make it sound voluntary. The way she's telling it is obviously that she wasn't in her full comprehension, perhaps. But, girl, who knows?
But this was from the intake of Anchor. This is, like, the most...
the swinger phase.
This is truly the lowest moment of my life. Because...
she's just a pineapple girl.
I only had one pair of dirty clothes and no one to bring me clean clothes.
Where are your friends and family in all of this? You have 2 brothers. I understand your family are over there in Norway, but you literally went to dinner with 2 friends. You went to dinner with 2 friends, then you were in the ER for 2.5 days. Where are your friends?
And for transport, I only had the hospital gown that didn't fit. And that was all I had on. So for the ambulance ride, they gave me an orange blanket so my butt...
Oh, so the 72 hours is an evaluation, cat lady. Right.
That wasn't exposed.
Oh, what's this note? They had to take it back. I couldn't keep it, and Anchor had some small blankets, or such small blankets I could not cover myself well. Okay.
I only had one pair of dirty clothes and no one to bring me clean clothes. And for transport, I only had the hospital gown that didn't fit. And that was all I had on. So for the ambulance ride, they gave me an orange blanket so my butt wasn't exposed. This is...
Oh. Oh, she's got the poop bun and everything. Right.
me. This was a stuffed animal. I don't know if you can see it right there. I've got 2 of them. There's a story to that too, but at the time I only had 1. And I named her Jade. She was a little squishmallow that the person that I share this tattoo with brought me.
Josie, makes sense. So it sounds like the hospital was like, hey, sign this thing so we can keep you in observation for up to 3 days, just in case, like, we need to admit you to somewhere. And then at the 2.5 day mark, they were like, yeah, we probably need to get you somewhere that's not an ER. Okay, I'm following.
And, I think this is the most demoralizing, horrific thing on the planet, because this is what they put on all the files, on all your belongings, everything about you, so they have a picture reference of you.
Okay, I don't know this Anchor mental hospital, but that actually seems like a really smart way of being able to keep track of who's who and whose is what. I mean, look, the blanket's not flattering, but, like, we're in a psychotic emergency. Psychotic? I was gonna say psychic. That's not right. We're in a mental health emergency here. We're in a blanket. It's fine.
The other mental hospital that I went to doesn't do this.
Okay.
This is disgusting.
I really don't think it's that disgusting. I think they just take a photo so they know whose is what. And so they can identify you. Because again, you're going to like a mental hospital. Like, people are legitimately not within their right minds.
This makes me angry. This was when I was lied to, and this is what I was lied to, and that they didn't have any hospital beds in this facility.
Oh.
I still have wrist issues because of how I had to sleep.
Oh, interesting, Eddie. Right.
They did not transfer my medication over from the ER, so this night, the night they took this picture, I experienced medication-induced psychosis for the first time, and unfortunately not the last, because all this journey that I went through this past year regarding medication and being so hypersensitive to it and having issues with mental health meds wasn't a problem for me before this place.
Oh.
They denied me water for the first 14 hours I was there.
Oh, well, that's not good. Everyone should have water. And a blanket. Not Chantel's Candace. Good to see you, honey. Thank you for being here for 6 months. Candace says, good morning, Poppy and chat. Love you guys. Love you too, honey. I hope you're having a fabulous day. Happy 6 months. Half anniversary.
I was promised up front at the gate by the girl who took this picture of me that...
The girl. Oh, she talks about mental health care or healthcare professionals like fucking Ambi. And Chantel do. They all talk about them the same.
They would...
No respect.
Give me extra pillows. And again, I was not in my right frame of mind. For rules reasons, they tried to take Jade, the stuffed animal, away from me.
You know what, Lily? That's a good question. Lily asked, could this issue be related to her head bump-induced THC? It could be. I mean, she never got it figured out, so could have had something to do with that. Could have had a breakdown because her feeder swinger community was fractured. Lord, who knows?
Even though they hadn't given me any of the anxiety meds I had been on for previous days. So I didn't have medication to cope, but I don't know what it was about Jade over there. She was a trooper, and also I could use her as a pillow. So
shout out to Jade.
She kind of helped me out the first night or so I had her. But they tried to take her from me, and me and my fat ass.
Wait, how did you get the Squishmallow? Where'd that come from? I thought you only had like a hospital gown and a blanket. Where'd the Squishmallow come from?
Literally like crouched in a corner of the hallway. I didn't know at the time that there was rooms and people were sleeping. I didn't know that. Just screaming, telling them like they couldn't take it. So they let me keep it because it was like, I don't know, probably 10, 11, 12 at night at that point.
Right.
Because they did a night time intake with me, transfer and intake. And the nurse, whoever, the tech or whatever.
You know, whatever.
That was in my room right afterwards. When I asked for the extra pillow, she laughed in my face and said, "You're lucky you have one," and closed the door in my face. All the toiletries that we were given in a tub, and they had a rule that if you didn't put everything back in your tub once you were done with your showers, they would confiscate everything. And I have ADHD pretty severely, and so my second...
I believe it was my first or second day, I remember having to shower multiple times. Okay. Oh, that way. Okay.
Or third day, I forgot. And the rest of my time there, I had to shower with the hand soap dispenser in the...
They took away my soap, shampoo, comb, toothbrush, all of it, when only some of it had been forgotten due to a diagnosis I have. Right, so she's mad because her, according to her, her ADHD meant she couldn't put things back in a tub, and then they took them away. Right, got it.
Bathroom in my room. Somehow, I got lucky and I ended up not...
I mean, remembering as well, this is a mental hospital, in her words. Like, this is a psychiatric care facility where I'm imagining they're dealing with a whole heap of people, with a whole heap of issues, with a whole heap of, like, potential dangers and concerns about. So, like, I get it if it's not comfortable to have a second pillow, but there's a whole conversation to have about that. Like, I get it to, like, have to be counting every soap bottle and making sure that everything's, like, super safe, because obviously, like, harm comes into that conversation. I understand that, like, being in a mental hospital is not convenient. It really, it does not sound convenient, but it also sounds like perhaps some of these things that they were doing were not malicious, but instead just intended to assist patients. But I don't know.
Dispenser in the bathroom in my room. Somehow, I got lucky and I ended up not having a roommate the entire time I was there. I don't know how that happened. It was by the grace of some higher being. And they refused to wash my clothes that night. They didn't have a good reason. It was like the night staff just didn't want to clean them. And all I had was a nightgown with my butt exposed that I had been in for 3 days already, and a pair of dirty clothes that had food encrusted on them that was 3 days old from when I had gotten food on myself at the restaurant. So they didn't start watching it until like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. And so I was stuck in my room, and I was wrapped in blankets. I had 2 blankets I had to be wrapped up in, and I was naked when the psychologist or psychiatrist, whatever, came in to interview me, a male doctor. Again, this is 5 days after one of the worst moments of my life that happened. And I remember he was asking me questions like what Earth is, like just basically trying to make sure I was mentally competent. Again, there was just a theme with all the professionals at this place that they just don't make eye contact with people.
Okay, so you acknowledge the fact that this doctor who was speaking to you was making sure that you were competent, and now you're mad that they're not making eye contact, which is probably its own like whole thing. But again, golly, you were in a mental hospital.
And then when they told me they were going to bring me my breakfast or whatever to my room.
Also, isn't there a trick with hospital gowns that you can just get 2 of them and like kind of like tie them to each other and wham bam, thank you ma'am, you've got like double size? No? Okay, never mind.
Because again, I was naked. I just was like, I don't care about the food, please just bring me water. And it was kind of like a thing at that point in my life. I hadn't gotten to try grits yet, and I really wanted to try grits. But like,
oh, I feel like we're going to be reviewing the grits at the mental hospital today.
I really wanted them to be good grits. And I was very hungry. It had been a very long time since I'd eaten, and a very long time since I had had water. So I was just I just remember like, I just didn't care about eating because I was so thirsty. And they come back with my breakfast tray, and they put 2 fruit punches on it, but there was no fucking water.
Right.
They still didn't bring me water. So I just was just so frustrated. I just remember I sighed, and I chugged the fruit punch because I just needed something to drink.
Instead of sighing, did you maybe ask the person who brought it in if you could have some water? Look, I'm not trying to blame anyone. Everybody deserves access to water and blankets, but like a sigh does not communicate your needs.
And I got down those disgusting grits.
Oh,
they
there
were
it
the
is.
most gluey, nasty, shitty grits. And
Nasty mental hospital grits.
a few months after this event, I got to go to Kentucky to see a friend of mine
Oh, was it Amber?
who I knew at the time. And I remember he took me to this like really cool restaurant, and they had like grits and catfish, and I got to try actually good grits for the first time. But I still can't do them.
Oh yeah, that's right, Barbecue. She was saying that she had a shower, so she would have had a sink in the bathroom, right? Oh, she could have gotten water from the tap.
For that. That's when once the laundry got done.
Not a fan of mental hospital grits, so maybe she wasn't a fan of mental hospital tap water either.
And then I went out, and I remember I just like chugged a bunch of water, and I would not let go of that stuffed animal. I think it was the second day. There was a therapist of sorts that manipulated me into leaving the stuffed animal in my room, and they told me that I would be able to come back and that it would be there, but that I would eventually have to give it back to them. And I was lied to again, and when I came back, it was gone. So I had a meltdown. And then that first day, like I tried to participate.
This is all happening on the first day? My lord.
They made Alcoholics Anonymous mandatory, even though that wasn't a thing I needed.
Oh.
And I was really frustrated by that because there's like a really religious component to Alcoholics Anonymous or OA, things like that I just don't fucking jive with. And the important highlight of the first
Seems like a weird thing to be pushing people in a mental hospital into. But okay.
first day was that they had you fill out a worksheet. And there was an option to like check to speak to someone privately, like for therapy.
Was it Alcoholics Anonymous or Narcotics Anonymous? Because this, like, we started off this story time with like, black market weed vapes.
And I did that because I really just needed to fucking talk to someone. And I never got pulled aside. And the next day I did the same thing in the check-in. And I walked up to the behavioral health person, therapist, counselor, whatever. And she was sitting at her desk with her binder open, the sheets of fucking faces and stickers and writing her bullshit.
God, administration? Fucking, what a life. What an inconvenience. Oh god, I hated her. She had a binder and she was taking notes.
And I asked her about the
Practically Nurse Ratched over there.
sheet, and I asked her, like, when I could talk to someone, and without looking up from her fucking binder, she just goes, "We don't do that here." And I went, "I'm sorry, what?" Because that did not register as, like, an option at a mental health hospital, that they don't do therapy there. That just...
Why were you there? What was happening? Like, did you follow up? Did you, like, what was the care plan? I'm assuming there was something. Or was this just like a holding space?
doesn't... What does that mean? I don't know what that means. And she repeated herself. She just goes, "We don't
Yeah, she's not coming off great here, Stephen.
do that here." And I remember I was, like, standing at the main desk area. There was, like, a center...
Like, I don't think this is just like a spa, like a therapy spa. This is like for emergency situation types of deals.
area, and there was, like, basically 2 hallways. I think there was like the doctor's office is this way, and then
This fucking grits really got to her, right?
behind me from where I was standing in that moment was, like, the sunroom, the main room, where, like, the water was, and, like, where the group meetings were or whatever. And I remember, like, time froze for a second. And that was the moment that I realized, like, I was hostage. Like, that was the moment that I realized I had fucked up by asking for help. That was the moment when I realized that I wasn't safe. And there's a lot of, like, side things that happened. Like, there was a moment with some of the male people, because the male people that were there that were very aggressive and scary. Like, they were just very clearly deranged individuals. Like, there was just a few of them in the group. There were...
Wait, I'm sorry. Are you talking about patients of the mental hospital? Uh-huh. Girl, read the room. Zing, thank you for the super chat, honey. Zing says that they are there to keep people alive, not therapy. Yeah, not a therapy spa. Very different. Mental hospital, therapy spa. Different situation type of deals. Buttercropper, good to see you, honey. I hope you're well, love.
There's, like, really old patients who had, like, dementia, severe mental health issues going on.
Yeah.
One of them was horribly mean all the time, and the other one...
Girl, they're suffering. They're suffering. You. Oh, she's not coming off well. Oh no. Yeah, girl. Like, okay, they might say some mean stuff to you. They might act out, but, like, you're in a mental hospital. These people, like, you literally just said they have dementia, and possibly a list of other things that are impacting their ability to function. Where did you think you were going?
One was really sweet during the day, but she was a sundowner, I think is what it's called. I don't remember the exact term. But she didn't live in my
Yeah, you tell her, Travis.
hallway, so I never witnessed it. But during the day, she was sweet as pie and really lovely to be around, actually. And then there was a few people there that were like me, who were just trying to get help and got stuck there, not knowing the system, not knowing how to get out. And
I forgot to mention some people who had private insurances were being kept needlessly against their will for weeks. Okay, spelt there incorrectly. Because they had private insurance and were being billed for it. If I remember right, this was reflected in the Google reviews too. Oh my god.
And there was also this girl there. She was young. She was, like, between 18 to 20.
God, what are we doing? Are you here for your help or, like, this is bonkers.
She had just found out she was pregnant and had a real serious, like, problem with meth and wanted to get clean. So she came to get help because she wanted to get clean for her baby. And
okay.
They would never, like, honor her food aversions, because that was the moment where I went into pure fight or flight for the rest of my time there. And I knew that I just had to smile and nod, play the game.
Oh, Hugh, it's in the title. It's Anchor Mental Hospital.
And get the fuck out of there
Anchor.
the minute 72 hours happened. I was, like, before that moment, I was trying to be
Sky, well, I know.
vulnerable. I was trying to, like, be honest and
To be fair, Lottie picked it out.
heal and be expressive about my needs. At that point, I was like, they don't give a fuck about what I need. They don't care. They are here to collect a check through the government in my name.
Oh, right. Okay. So it's a big conspiracy theory that everybody who works at Anchor Mental Hospital doesn't want to care for patients, and it's for profit. They're just here to make money out of people's suffering. Right. Okay.
I don't think that's how I phrased it in my head in that moment, but that's what happened. And so I spent a lot of time trying to help other people.
Oh, right. Martyr, quirky martyr.
Because it was how I was coping.
Right.
Because I'm not new to mental health. Like, I know a lot about the systems at play. I know a lot about, you know, how to advocate for yourself. Like, what
Mother Rosie. Mother Rosie out here. She's out here helping people. I thought you were suffering with the mental break, but...
to help other people. Because it was how I was coping.
Not Nurse Rosie.
Because I'm not new to mental health. Like, I know...
Knowing to live it in spades, Lottie. Yeah.
know a lot about the systems at play. I know a lot about...
Saint Rosie, that's a good one.
You know, how to advocate for yourself, like what your rights are, like things like that.
Wait, you literally said in this very video that you didn't understand what was going on. You didn't understand the processes. You felt like you were trapped there. You hadn't had water. Like, no one was cleaning your clothes. They gave you cold grits. Like, but you had better grits in Kentucky, so it's fine. What do you mean you're advocating for other people? You don't... Do you or do you not understand how this works?
And a lot of these people have never had a day of therapy in their life. Like, they don't really understand the system. They didn't have the
I don't know how much therapy Anchor Mental Hospital was able to provide, considering all of these stories. Sounds like this was an area where people were being taken care of, not in a therapy way, but in a, like, you may have nobody else and no other place to go, and you are suffering with severe psychosis, dementia, X, Y, Z, whatever. But what do I know?
kind of support that I had growing up, things like that. And so I did my best to just try to help people. Because there were times where, like I mentioned, there were some elderly patients there. And some of them couldn't feed themselves. And
yeah, that's awful. I'm assuming this is why hospitals such as this exist.
Depending on who was staffed that day, sometimes they would help feed them, and other times the nurses were too busy looking at their nails and filing them, not joking, like actually doing that, to do anything other than look at their nails.
Right.
And so, I mean, there was a day where I literally cut up the sundowner.
Emo, I totally understand. This is a lot.
I'm not gonna try to not use names, but the sundowner lady, I like cut up her food and helped fed her because, you know, some days my food aversions wouldn't let me eat that food. It was so disgusting. There was one day I had
the cold grits, inedible grits, great loser name.
I had 9 rolls for lunch, and that was it. Because a bunch of people gave me the rolls because nothing else I could eat on the plate because it was so gross. So and they were not very big rolls either. I don't even know, was it 9? I don't know. It was like a large number of rolls. Like I just ate a bunch of bread just to try to feel full, because, you know, you didn't get snacks except once at snack time. So again, it was like this.
Well, fucking heaven forbid, 1 star.
Such a different
It's only 1 snack time and bread?
experience. And when I went to like an actual facility, I mean, I wouldn't even send someone I hated to Anchor. Like, I don't know how they're open. I don't know how they're a business.
I imagine so, yeah.
I don't understand how they're still, like, doing the shit that I saw to people, because I haven't even gotten to the worst of the stuff yet.
She's going to. We've still got like 20 minutes left. Don't worry, Chad.
There was another older man. He was
Again, we did not visit a therapy spa. No.
He was a handicapped man. He was in a wheelchair. He had like actual medical needs. And this was more near the end of the 3 days. He was in a wheelchair and had a lot of pain issues, a lot of problems, and he kept trying to get seen by the doctor and they just wouldn't see him. And I literally, how I coped with this whole fucking experience was, back at that moment that I mentioned at the front desk with that bitch ass, like, behavioral health person.
God, the one with the binder, the worst. Anna, thank you for the super chat, honey. Anna says, wow, Rosie is the RN, a doctor, a psychiatrist, a social worker, a counselor, and a dietitian, amongst other things. Gosh, she's done so much. She really has.
I started treating this
Thanks, honey.
entire experience like an episode of Criminal Minds. It was how I...
Oh, yeah, perfect. That's exactly what you want. Yeah, a patient in anywhere living out their Criminal Minds fantasy. That is, wow. Everyone's gonna love that.
Coped, like, I was just like, who can I trust and who can't I trust? And there
CSI Rosie
was like a couple specific people that I could tell like actually cared and saw us as human beings, and other people who just saw us as like subhuman. I've never been to prison, but I think that was prison. I think that experience that I had was prison disguised as mental health care.
Girl. Oh, Lord. Lord. Oh, God, everything hurts.
I think some prisons are nicer than that place.
Girl, it was a mental health hold.
This is so dehumanizing to me.
They literally took a photo of you to be able to keep track of who the fuck you were. Girl, honestly, this does not seem that deep. This does not seem that deep. This in particular does not seem that deep. It's like you came in with a bag of stuff, they took one of these photos, wrote your name on the back of it, and like tied it on the bag so they wouldn't lose it. So they knew that it was yours. My God, she did have the ALR poop bun. Yes. Also, chat, just saying today, I hope that Ambi's having the day she deserves today.
I'm never gonna get over this. But, yeah. So, I got a little sidetracked, but basically, I was able to kind of like profile who I could talk to, how to talk to them, what I could do to I would like pick and choose my battles. Like when the pregnant girl needed to eat and she was someone I kind of befriended. And breakfast was making her so nauseous she couldn't eat it. And the cooks would not listen to any of the patients, would not give them any kind of food, would not do-
Wait, were the patients talking to the cooks? What is this place?
anything extra beyond like what was allotted. So this specific day, there was one of the good nurses there. So I went up to her and I just like very quietly, softly explained it because I was like, if I do this on her behalf, maybe they'll listen. And I was
Again, she was there for 3 days. She's making a lot of like very swift judgments about all of the employees in less than 3 days.
right, and I was able to get her extra cereal so she could at least like eat some dry cereal.
Like,
And then the same thing with him, the guy in the wheelchair, and getting the doctor, finding the nurses that cared and just being like, hey, it's been like 2 days of him saying this, this, and this, like symptom, these issues, and he's still not talked to the doctor. Like, you really need to get him to the doctor. Like, he needs to get to a fucking doctor. And
St. Rosie.
the staff was just really atrocious. At the time, I didn't have anything to compare it to. Now, having gone to like a really good mental health facility where like we could get snacks at any time of night. They had like pre-made.
You guys comparing it, I've just been to such better facilities. Like, number 1 rule, snacks 24/7.
At the time, I didn't have anything to compare it to. Now, having gone to like a really good mental health facility where like we could get snacks at any time of night. They had like pre-made sandwiches for us. Like, you could get water anytime you asked for it.
Just the dream, really. Therapy spa.
Like, all the staff
Grits, pronto.
was like trauma informed, trained. Like, I mean, just eons of a different experience. It blows my fucking mind that place even exists. Especially when I tell you like the story. Like, there was a moment that like really encapsulated the worst of the abuse, and this is like honestly trigger warning. I mentioned earlier there was a really mean lady, and like I don't necessarily think it's her fault. Like, she clearly had pretty severe dementia and some kind of significant mental illness stuff going on.
Right.
And she would just like repeat the same things over and over again. Frankly, I'm really glad I don't remember what those words are, because for weeks after the event, I could hear her voice in my head over and over again, because she would say these same things over and over again. And she had a very shrill voice, and again, she was really mean. She did not like me specifically. Every time she looked at me with so much hate in her eyes.
Girl, she's in a mental hospital with dementia. The fact, again, this is just a reminder, she's retelling this story 5 years later. Like, she was really, really mean and she just kept repeating herself. Girl, read the room.
Again, she was really mean. She did not like me specifically. Every time she looked at me with so much hate in her eyes. I honestly think it was because I was fat. Like not even trying to make it about that, but
I don't think it was because you were fat. I think it's because she was in a mental hospital and she had, by all accounts, severe dementia. And I'm pretty sure, I can't remember what it's called, but there's a dementia aggression or something like that happens. Because obviously, like, confusion and, like, all of that stuff, it's terrifying. Dementia's fucking awful. Like, it's terrifying. But, girl, I don't think she hated you. I don't think she was cutting eyes at you because you were fat. I think that she had her own shit going on. Again, I'm not going to say read the room, but maybe we read the room.
She just, like, she wasn't particularly
clever. She was there for 3 days.
Super nice to anybody, but she especially was mean towards, like, certain people, I think for her own reasons, and I was one of them.
Probably the mental health stuff, yeah. Zing, thank you for the super chat, love. Zing says the dementia patient was fatphobic.
And so I just tried to, like, steer clear of her, because, like, you know, I don't need that. I've got enough going on. And, oh, I forgot to mention the time that they had, they tried to use a 6'8" security guard that was bigger than me. I swear to God, that man had to weigh at least 600 to 700 pounds, because
why are we fat shaming security now?
I was over 500 pounds at that time and 5'6".
Clock it. Over 500 pounds at 5'6". Just in case there's anyone taking notes.
They tried to use a 6'8" security guard that was bigger than me. I swear to God, that man had to weigh at least 600 to 700 pounds, because I was over 500 pounds at that time and 5'6". And he was the largest human being I've ever been around in my life, and he was the security at this place.
Okay, why are we shaming him?
And he was bigger than me, like,
again,
width-wise.
Okay. And people exist. Why are we being mean?
And literally 6'5" to 6'8", like, biggest man I've ever seen.
Okay, big security guard working at the mental hospital, because, you know, oftentimes, like, that is required. Yes.
My throat just got that was crazy. Anyway, yeah, biggest man I've ever seen in my entire life. And that's come from a real big bitch, right? Anyway, gotta joke sometimes. But one of the staff members that really cared, who ran a lot of the group sessions.
Wait, what was the story about the security guard? I'm sorry, are you saying that Anchor Mental Hospital is a shit house because they had a, like, 500-pound, 6'8" security guard? I'm failing to understand what the point of that note was.
That wasn't the other one that I mentioned with the binder story. That person saw what was happening, knew my trauma, knew that, frankly, the security guard matched a good amount of the physical description of the person that traumatized me to begin with. And, they like circumvented, so, like, I didn't actually interact with the security guard, but I remember someone was like, hey, yo, they're coming for you. And I look up and I see the guard all the way down the hallway walking towards me, and I'm like flabbergasted, and thankfully there was a staff member that cared enough to intercept, because I don't know what I would have done in that moment, because I was so just out of my mind, man. I was just not me. I was not me.
You have, by the sounds of it, perfect recollection of an extremely harrowing and traumatic experience from 5 years ago, and you are telling it not great.
And anyway, I'm gonna go back to the other story, because I want to say this was like the second night that I was there that this happened. I was trying to sleep, and I had to sleep on, like, a flat surface. I had one small flat.
Wait, so what was the point of that story? There was a big security guard who was walking towards you in a hallway, and a nurse stopped him? I'm failing to understand. Relevance, Your Honor?
Hello. So the only way I could breathe and sleep was sleeping on my stomach. I don't know if you heard that, but I don't even want to do the position because it hurts. With my hands like this on my chin and sleeping on my elbows.
Okay, so this is the story of how she got hand damage. From my understanding, Rosie only had one flat pillow, and that wasn't good enough for the princess and the pea, or whatever. So she had to sleep on her stomach, like this. Okay.
It's the only way I could sleep. And that, my friends, is medical malpractice meets fat phobia.
Oh my god, my lord.
Because, that should be super illegal.
The way you chose to sleep should be super illegal. Is that... What?
This on my chin and sleeping on my elbows. It's the only way I could sleep. And that, my friends, is medical malpractice meets fat phobia. Because that should be super illegal.
Girl, I'm so confused. Why could you not sleep on your back? Did she reference sleep apnea there or no?
Biggest man I've ever seen. My throat just got. That was crazy. Man I've ever seen in my entire. But the one of the staff members that really cared, who ran a lot of the group sessions, that wasn't the other one that I mentioned with the binder story. That person saw what was happening.
Okay.
A good amount of the physical description of the person.
I don't care.
Someone was like, "Hey, yo, they're coming for you," and I looked flat. I would have done in that moment because I was so.
Tell me this again. Lisa, thank you for the super chat, honey. Lisa says medical malpractice means fat phobia. Thank you.
Out of my mind, man. I was just not me. I was not me.
Okay.
And
Help me understand. Maybe I need the whiteboard.
Anyway, I'm gonna go back to the other story because I want to say this was like the second night that I was there that this happened. I was trying to sleep, and I had to sleep on like a flat surface. I had one small flat pillow, so the only way I could breathe and sleep was sleeping on my stomach.
Oh, girl, it sounds like you've got sleep apnea. I'm not anyone. I'm not here to diagnose or any of that business. But if you can't sleep laying down, you might have issues with breathing. Have you seen someone about that?
I don't know if you heard that, but I don't even want to do the position because it hurts. With my hands like this on my chin and sleeping on my elbows. It's the only way I could sleep. And that, my friends, is medical malpractice meets fat phobia.
Right.
Because that should be super illegal.
How is it medical malpractice and fat phobia? Because you need to sleep sitting up? Did you tell anyone?
This wrist is still fucked up. It's like my hands are always going to be fucked up from sleeping like that for so many days in a row when I could sleep, and I still have permanent side damage from it as well.
Oh, permanent side damage?
It's intermittent, but
Travis, I'm so sorry, honey.
yeah.
I mean, like, if ever I'm in a situation where I've got a really flat pillow, I just fold it over. Or I tuck my arm under the pillow and sleep like that. But, I don't know. I just... Or maybe you should have grabbed the Squishmallow. What happened to the Squishmallow? What day did that go missing?
Anyway.
Side damage? Is she a van?
Woke up at some point and I was hearing a commotion. So in the room next to me, there was her and another woman who, that's its own story too. I'm leaving out a lot. There's like a lot of stuff that happened. Like,
Girly Plop, now would have been the time to tell all of this story, but we're getting through it.
It was one of the most insane experiences of my life. But I heard an interaction with her and the staff, and they were like, this was 4 years ago, and I know I documented it, and frankly, I'm like scared to read it, because I'm scared if I read what I wrote and everything she said, like, the flashbacks will come back. I kind of like that I don't fully remember it as much as I used to, as much as it used to loop in my head.
So, are we meant to believe the stories that you're telling in this as truth and honest, or misrememberings? Huh.
She was like saying some of her things that she would repeat a lot, and then I heard them hit her in some capacity, whether it was like slapping or punching. Like, I heard physical violence, and then I heard her say, "Don't hit me." Talking about like an 80-year-old woman. I heard them hurting her, and then I heard them laugh about it. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and my mom was in Norway.
Oh, well, that was important to mention.
Yeah, she was in Norway.
Actually, none of this was important. I mean, it's important to mention, as in, that's terrible if true, but I'm trusting Rosie as far as I can, I don't know, push her on a wheelie chair. I don't understand why this story was necessary for Rosie to tell, personally, but okay.
Because I left my room, and the girl
They do, Evandas, unfortunately, yeah.
I had a nickname for her. I don't remember exactly what it was, and I don't want to fully quote it because it was a little offensive. I really didn't like her because she was really mean to me in the beginning. But she was obsessed with her Bible. Ultimately, I ended up kind of realizing how much it was a coping thing for her. But I walked out and she was just like obsessively like reading her Bible and rocking back and forth. And
we are telling everybody's business, by the way. Like, this has gone from Rosie's mental breakdown to let me tell you about all of the patients.
This was the girl.
I don't mean to make light of a situation like this, but this is feeling like a poor retelling of what's it called? Not Gone Girl. It's the other one. Winona Ryder and not Uma Thurman. Angelina Jolie. Girl interrupted. That's what this is.
Roommate, she had like fled the room while this was all going down. And there was some.
She's just out here telling other people's stories, hey?
At the front desk, and I was just like, and I was in the room right next to the altercation, and I had to get out because like it wasn't stopping. And I was able to manipulate the front desk lady into letting me use the phone.
Do you mean you asked her?
I think she had to like turn it on for me, if I remember right.
Manipulated? What?
But I was able to explain to her, like, my mom lives in Norway. Like, I promise you, it's a normal time there. Like, I'm not just randomly calling someone in the States. She's got, like, it was like a Magic Jack phone number or something. And so I remember, like, I called my mom. And I was, like, I told her what happened. My mom was really trying to help me.
No, but I cried, but I haven't. I've only watched the movie.
Like, do everything I could just to get out of there. Because, you know, being assaulted is a horrible experience. It is truly a very horrific form of trauma. But I can confidently say that my experience at the facility in those 3 days was far worse than the initial trauma that took place. And I was further traumatized to the point that led to pretty much everything else that kind of stumbled down from the first couple weeks of 2020 into, near the end of 2022 when I landed, 2021 when I, 2022, yes. I got to Florida in 2022. I moved to Omaha at the end of 2021.
Moved to Omaha at the end of 2020, moved to Florida at the end of 2021. The real healing started at the beginning of 2022. That's the note.
I'm bad at timelines. I can't believe it's been 4 years. That's so crazy to me to realize that. There's so much that happened afterwards, and there was so many points of support for me throughout my experience once I was able to get out. And I really was lucky in a lot of ways, because the craziest part is things could have ended a lot worse for me, and I'm really glad that they didn't. But this story, my story like that, is not only is it not the only one, it's not the worst one of what the damage is for people in America who don't have insurance, who don't have good care, who need support, need resources, need help, and when they ask for help, that's what they get.
Girl, you could have been thrown out on the street suffering a psychotic break. I'm very sorry that you got cold grits and couldn't turn a tap on. But by all accounts, you were relatively looked after in a hospital for 2.5 days in an emergency room. And then you were moved to a mental hospital. It feels so weird to call it a mental hospital. A mental health care facility. Where you received care, by the sounds of it, not optimal or great at all times. But, girl, you didn't get thrown out on the street. You took a fucking ambulance from the ER to the mental hospital. That's wild.
More trauma. And I told myself for so many years I would never go to a mental hospital. And I'm so glad that last year I was able to humble myself enough, that I was able to love myself enough to know that there was an opportunity for me to get care that I really needed, and that I could get it. And that just because this one place didn't do what they needed to do, and just because I was coerced into signing something when I was legally not in the place to be able to consent to any fucking thing.
Again, where were the friends?
Even though I had my rights stripped from me, my consent revoked from me, that there was a way for me to navigate the system where...
Yeah, well, true, Lottie. That would have been a rough year.
I was in full control, that I could leave at any moment, that I had the opportunity to get care that was paid for through my insurance voluntarily. that there wasn't some clause that made me have to submit to this system.
Girl, I don't want to hold your hand when I tell you this, and I understand there's a lot of cynicism when it comes to healthcare and the for-profit nature of it in America and insurance and all of that kind of stuff. I get that. But I also think that there, especially in cases where mental health is such a big concern, it does sound like there are instances where it's like, well, if you're not in your right mind, we also need to have some form of protection and ability to communicate to you that we need to care for you. So, like, at that point in time, I think healthcare professionals most likely just choose the one that's going to be, like, least harmful. Because, you know, that's kind of the gig. Like, again, if you're in an ER and a doctor's like, we can't treat you unless you sign this thing, like, that's the situation where you're suffering a mental break and you're thrown out in the gutter. Like, it sucks, but, like, I don't know anything about it, but you received, by all accounts, almost a week's worth of care. Some not great, some probably better. Cold grits.
That's a summarization of my story. There's a lot more to it.
Peach, it sounds like, I don't know. It sounds like she had 3 days in the ER for observation, and then at day 2.5, they were like, we need to shift you to a mental hospital, because more than likely it sounds like the ER just wasn't equipped to deal with her.
But I feel like, I feel relieved. I feel like for the first time I've been able to get through this story coherently as much as I can with my ADHD level storytelling skills. But, you know, like, that I'm not a mess. I deserved better. We, as a collective, deserve better.
Asha, that's true. She was, I don't want to say lucky, because it's a terrible situation for anyone to go through, but, like, it could have been a lot worse.
We need more funding into resources for, healthcare for all, but even still, just better than that. I'm never gonna throw these away.
Oh my god. I'm gonna have to change the thumbnail now.
This is truly the lowest moment of my life. This entire scenario, when I think back on it, I did not want this photo taken.
Oh my god, she is a Lynn. She's Rosalind. They're all Lynns down here.
You know, Anchor, like, took down my review. I left a review on Google.
Uh-huh.
They got it removed.
Right.
I'd love...
Ooh, Lottie has a good note. Lottie says, in Australia, if you present through ER, there will usually be a hold or observation period to help determine if it's substance-related and if you need referral for a medical detox. Oh, that would make sense. That would make total sense. That makes sense. The Alcoholics Anonymous bit in the mental hospital is a bit confusing. Maybe that's part of that.
One day to hit a level of success where I could make real systemic change.
Yeah, I'm very sorry to the Lynn girlies in the chat. Sorry. Yeah, Hugh, good point. I'm very sorry.
I don't know if that's going to be my lot in this life, but I really wish I could for her. I really wish I could for her. Oh man, that's
Yeah, one flat pillow, 1 star.
emotional as fuck.
Cold grits, 1 star. Couldn't figure out how to work the tap, 1 star.
The fact I only cried this much is a testament to how much I've healed. Shit. I was like, I'd love to get through this without crying, but I knew that just wasn't going to happen. One day, I kind of want to go through this. I found this cute little...
Ah, that would make sense, Otis.
organizer.
Yeah.
And it's got like a bunch of childhood photos and like childhood memorabilia.
Ooh, fun. I love a binder. Wait, no, we're not allowed to say that around Rosie. She might get mad.
Really important keepsake stuff. Like, this is pretty much all of my life that I have left from everything post like 2022.
Pre-2021, I'm really bad at recalling timelines due to my concussions and memory loss issues I've developed. Oh, Lord. And yet we can sit here and recall a story from 5 years ago when we were having a psychotic break. Yep, sure, whatever.
or
The lizard brain in me wants to trust people so badly. The reality part of my brain sees situations like this and thinks, maybe that's not always the smartest thing.
2022, I lost like everything that I owned, except for these, my angels, the jade squishmallow, which is only from, 2020. But like all my childhood stuff, like all my all the moving between like the camper and all that, I can fit it into this. That's sad. I won't lie, that's sad. But this survived. I survived. And I am
Oh, it does, Nikki.
proud of that. So I'm gonna go, because I probably have to go cry a little more. But I survived. I survived hell. And I've had a lot of people along the way try to invalidate that and try to invalidate how horrible those things were to me and how they impacted me and how all of that transpired, because this was just the beginning of some
Oh, so like the 2020s were not a good time for Rosie.
other bullshit.
Right.
Well, this being the pictures that I just put in there, but this story being that way. Later, guys.
Okay, bye. Thanks for watching. Oh, you're so welcome. All right, chat, we've got one more to follow up that fucking wild piece of lore. This is, I went to a psych ward again. This is from 11 months ago. This is 22 minutes. I think there's a poop button. Have fun for us.
Hi, welcome to me.
Hi, welcome to you.
I don't even know where to start. I haven't had my phone in 6 days, and
It is a choice to come online with your hospital armband still attached. Oh, look, it's the kitchen.
title's obviously not clickbait. Also, since when did I have a bruise? That is news to me. That actually hurts. When did I do that? I don't know. Anyway.
Oh my god, when did I do that, you guys? When did I? Oh my god, look at that bruise. Oh, look at that. Oh no, let me. Oh, I've just got to take that off. How silly of me. Have you showered?
Yeah. So I was in the hospital past 6 days, and every other time I've gone to the hospital, I've made some kind of statement online, or I'm publicly having a mental breakdown, and then I end up in the mental hospital because fun. This time was different though. I guess
I'm gonna slow this down. I'm gonna slow this down, and you know what? Rosie had a therapy day today. I hope that went well.
I'm gonna kind of just go back. I mean,
Or yesterday, whenever it was.
and I do have more pre-recorded content that I will eventually be releasing, and I'll make sure to add some context in the beginning, just because I know it can be confusing to people. But as a lot of you know, especially if you were watching my lives, I was really not okay. I think that was evident.
I might have to go. When was this? This was 11 months ago. So if I go back in the live streams 11 months, we might do some retros.
And I was really struggling. And the week before I went to the hospital, I had a situation with one of my supervisors at my job who screamed at me in a way that was really unprofessional, really alarming, and severely triggered my PTSD.
Right, got yelled at work, PTSD. A lot of other things were happening that caused this to happen. This situation was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Okay.
And I didn't go to work for 4 days.
Right.
I couldn't muster it. And so I called out for 4 days plus the weekend, and then I went back the following Tuesday. So that was on September 9th, I want to say, maybe 10th. And I went to work. And the night before, I just felt horrible. I was
Oh, really? Were they, Lottie? We might have to rewatch them. Ooh, that could be fun. That could be fun.
sick to my stomach with anxiety.
Wait, is it fun wild or is it sad wild?
I wasn't doing okay, and I make myself go to work. I wake up early, run some errands, get myself to my job. I go, and before my first break, I took 2 calls, and they were both no sales, even though I worked really hard on those calls.
Okay.
And I ended up just the entire day I was on the verge of tears. I was terrified to run into the supervisor, and I went to the bathroom after break. So during break, I sat with my work friend, and I cried a little bit, and I was just I even told this friend, I was I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to work here, because I'm losing my mind, and I can't keep doing this. I keep missing too much work. I'm so stressed out, blah 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 blah.
Yeah. It is interesting when Rosie talks about friends. I do wonder whether or not she's held on to any of them through the years. Like, obviously, the swinging feeders, like, probably didn't hang about too much. But I wonder if Rosie has, like, people to hang out with. Good question.
So I'm supposed to go back on the phones, and I'm staring at my computer, and I'm like, if I get on this phone, on these phones right now, I'm gonna have a nervous breakdown with a customer on the line, and like, I can't do that. So I go to the bathroom, and I just start crying and crying, and eventually I'm like, I just gotta call my mom. So I call my mom, and she picks up, and
there's a lot of calls to mum in these stories.
I'm like sobbing, and I'm talking to her, and I'm like, explaining to her that like I can't do this, like I think I need to quit my job. I don't know what else to do. Like I feel like I'm a failure. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, a mix? I mean, I'm open for a mix.
And my mom said a few different things with me, but she was like trying to ground me, and I hope she doesn't get mad at me for sharing this with the internet, but like I think it's just relevant because I've kind of hinted at this myself, because I knew this, but my mom has never directly said these words to me, but she was just like, you know, without your financial help, we'd have to sell the house, and there's just a lot of implication with that, and
oh, this was 11 months ago too. Oh, drama.
I'm a failure, blah, 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 blah. And my mom said a few different things with me, but she was like trying to ground me, and I hope she doesn't get mad at me for sharing this with the internet, but like I think it's just relevant because I've kind of hinted at this myself, because I knew this, but my mom has never directly said these words to me, but she was just like, you know, without your financial help, we'd have to sell the house, and there's
That's such a wild concept.
just a lot of implication
Maybe they need to stop living over in Norway.
with that. And
I don't... Look, chat, to be fair, I don't know their life, but, like... I thought this was grandma's house or whatever. They got passed down to mum and dad. Now mum and dad are saying, Rosie, you need to pay, otherwise we're selling the house. Meanwhile, they're over in Norway. They both work over there. Huh.
And that kind of snapped me back into reality a little bit, because I was just like, I just need to get out. I just need to find another way to make money. Like, I can't do this. And, you know, because I am financially helping with my current job, right? And, like, the money that I make and everything. And it just kind of, like, snapped me back into reality, because, like, that's the whole fucking reason that I took on a job when I was unsure that I'd be able to. So I had already, like, the week prior, I knew I wasn't okay, and, like, to my best friend, I had kind of confided and said, like, I'm starting to feel like I did when I went to the hospital last time. Like, I don't want to go back. Like, I don't want to go back to the hospital. I want to do everything I can. I was, like, trying to find the slower routes for care, like the non-fast track routes for care, and it just wasn't working. It wasn't happening fast enough. And then also, like, right before this, my therapist quit her practice. And that was within a month of my doctor. Oh my God. That was within a month of my doctor moving to a city 2 hours away. But let me go change the light 1 second. So, yeah, basically, like I was saying, lots was going on. And my care was just kind of crumbling apart. I was really stressed out about money, but I kept missing work, so it was making the money problem worse. And I just felt so stuck. And so when my mom said that, I knew what my only other option was. And
YouTube. Well, I mean, 11 months later, but YouTube.
And it just kind of clicked, and I was like, I can choose to fight this and make the wrong decisions, or I can just lean into it and do what's best for me. So I hang up, and I just stopped a little bit before I did anything else, because I just had to kind of release this emotion and accept about what I was about to do, and the release of control I was going to have to give again, and kind of just process the fact that, like, I'm not a failure for going back for care, because I just was really dead set on not having to go back to the hospital. Like, that I tried it and it didn't work. But I got up, and so I looked in the mirror, my eyes were pure red. Like, there was just no way of hiding the fact that I'd been crying, but I, like, made myself get to a point of not crying, walk outside. That's when the mentors who had been helping me were like, yeah, you can do it. And I just, like, shook my head like this at them, grabbed my backpack, grabbed my Miyoki, and walked back to HR. She wasn't there, so I had to kind of turn back around. I flagged down one of my favorite supervisors and brought her and said, when you're done with this person, can you please come to the hallway, because I just needed to talk to her privately. That's when I expressed to her that
This is a whole story. This is a whole workplace drama chat.
I was gonna need them to call an ambulance, because
It's the office.
it wasn't safe to drive for a few different reasons. Sorry about that. I had an important call come in. But yeah, so basically I spoke with her, and I told her that I needed to speak with.
I think she said I thought she said gnocchi crumpets. Yeah, she had to grab a lunch. Unless she said something different. I heard gnocchi too.
With HR, and that she wasn't in the office, that I wasn't safe to drive, and I was going to need to go to the hospital. And I was trying to be vague, especially with her, So we talk a little bit, and I just kind of explain some things, and I get into the HR office pretty quickly. HR shows up, and they're sitting with me, and I mean, like, at this point, I was already back to
Oh, mochi? Oh, well, still a food item.
uncontrollably crying, like, as soon as I started talking. In total...
Me too, Sky. Me too.
I think I was
Long
crying
enough.
for 2.5, 3 hours straight before it finally calmed down, because I had a nervous breakdown. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's been a while since I've had one of those, but I had a complete nervous breakdown, and I left in an ambulance, and I left my car in my work parking lot. Before I got in the ambulance, I didn't even end up asking this. Actually, my HR rep turned to me and she's like, "Don't worry about your job. Do not worry about your job. I'm putting you on leave for a week." Da 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 da. And I was like, okay, breathe. And then she said she would even backdate it for the days that I've been missing because she saw how, like, not okay I was.
Oh, well, that's good.
And we talked for a bit, and she just kind of helped talk to me about random stuff while we were waiting for the ambulance. And we ended up going to a medical center where they cleared me because, like, I was having a ton of physical symptoms. I honestly thought my blood sugars were fucked up or something. Spoiler alert.
Well, she's about to tell us. I won't step on the toes.
I actually had my blood monitored blood sugars monitored, like, very consistently for probably the first time ever for, like, a whole week.
Right.
And my blood sugars were always between, like, 118 and, like, the highest I think was, like, 150.
But what about your iron though, Rosie? What about your iron? Have you got the little iron fish yet?
And that was when I had cake prior.
What about the iron transfusions?
Like, the night before or something.
Is there iron in cake though?
And so I had, like, a slice of cake. And so, but most of the time my readings were like 120, 124, 130, for, like, every reading. And they were reading me for every meal plus snacks, so 4 times a day. And
we do take iron seriously here, Punch. Yeah, exactly.
And when I got my A1C back from the blood work they ran in the hospital, last I knew I was at a 6.0, and I'm currently at a 5.7.
Wow.
And that's off of the Mounjaro. I was really worried. I didn't know how that was going to go, but I am 0.1 away from having my diabetes basically completely, like, reversed, like, completely out of remission, like, not even pre-diabetic. I'm 0.1 away from dietary changes, and that includes, like, all the times that I've binged and all of that. Like, I was blown away when...
God, the girls out here curing their diabetes. It's wild. Seems so easy.
When, that's a spoiler alert, that's something I found out today, but I digress. So they got me medically cleared. They did the EKGs, they did everything. Everything was fine. My nausea, the stomach aches, the headaches, the dizziness, the lightheadedness, all of the symptoms I was...
She did the foodie reverse.
...was having were purely PTSD related. So, I...
When did it change from PTSD to CPTSD, or is it both? I don't know, girl. Like, it's not important, but...
Go from the...
I'm just curious.
ER, I get transferred to the mental facility, the mental health facility. And they put me on the adult unit, the main floor unit, which is, like, really intense. That's the one where the people who have, like, the most extreme symptoms are.
The main adult floor unit. Is that what she said?
I had a roommate who definitely had some kind of, like, intellectual disability while also dealing with some, like, pretty extreme symptoms in terms of her mental health. And like, at one point in the middle of that night, they had to put a shot in her thigh. Like, it was a lot, but it was nothing like my experience when I was medically kidnapped. They did not have hospital beds there, and I wasn't able to get that arranged because, quite honestly, the ER I was dealing with was a little incompetent at best. But,
she's always got a fucking issue with the healthcare professionals.
But that's a whole...
Can I just say, shout out to healthcare professionals. Y'all do it. Thank you for taking care of human beings and for trying to give them the best care possible. I understand it's not always easy, and I understand some people are not grateful and are, what's the word? Entitled. And they just want their grits. I get that. But just shout out to you guys. Thank you for looking after other human beings. Sorry, what was that, Rosie, about the ER being shit?
My experience when I was medically kidnapped. They did not have hospital beds there.
Oh, that's right. She's telling the kidnap story again in short. How fun for us.
Have, like, the most extreme symptoms are. I had a roommate who definitely had some kind of, like, intellectual disability while also dealing with some, like, pretty extreme symptoms in terms of her mental health. And like, at one point in the middle of that night, they had to put a shot in her thigh. Like, it was a lot, but it was nothing like my experience when I was medically kidnapped.
That's the content that we just watched.
They did not have hospital beds there, and I wasn't able to get that arranged because, quite honestly, the ER I was dealing with was a little incompetent at best. But that's...
Oh, wow.
That's a whole other story.
That ER kept you for 2.5 days, girl. They didn't have beds to keep you longer than that because, you know, it's an emergency room, which sucks, but they also sent you to the mental hospital.
Thank God, though, they did have wedge pillows. They were like, we don't have the hospital beds for the in-kind, but we do have wedge pillows. So there was a night nurse there. She was incredible. Oh my God, she's just meant for that job. She was an incredible human being. She was so kind and compassionate. She made me feel really safe. And she got me some wedge pillows, and then she was like literally digging around for extra pillows because like in my chart, like I have the information about the medical kidnapping, and like she knew about it before we even talked about it. And so I explained to her some things that had happened. And
you've got medical kidnapping in your chart. What?
I told her my pillow story of like how I was promised these things, and then the nurse like laughed in my face and told me that like, you know, you're lucky you have one pillow, and like I couldn't breathe in my sleep for 3 days, right? And I have lost 100 pounds too, so like I slept on that flat cot for 6 days with some wedge pillows, and I was fine. And like I'm really thankful for that. Like I didn't even have much.
But how's her iron?
In terms of extreme body pain while I was there, and I think that had a lot to do with the fact of how my treatment went, which we'll get to in a second. But yeah, there was just like a lot of yelling, and it was a really intense situation, and I didn't sleep a ton, but they gave me some cotton balls that I ended up putting in my ears, and so I got some sleep, which I was so thankful for, because sleeping in those kind of units is really hard. It was like really cramped. There was like a lot of people in a small area, and I get evaluated by the doctor the next morning, and she suggests Abilify, and I was concerned. I was like a little worried because last year I purposefully avoided antipsychotics because the medication that I had medication-induced psychosis from is an antipsychotic, and I don't have any psychotic disorders diagnosed either, so I was just like, no antipsychotics, right? Well, we were discussing it, and she explained to me how Abilify is used off-label for a lot of things, and one of those things is treatment-resistant depression. Side note, I am not a doctor. I am going to explain and discuss my care, how things worked for me. Do not take medical advice from a fat bitch on the internet. Moving on. Went ahead and...
Well, she said it. Her words, by the way.
And had this discussion with her, and she told me that, you know, she thinks that it would benefit me, and like, she knew my concerns, so I actually started on half a pill, like 2.5 milligrams to start for the Abilify.
Right. We're in the ER. Got it.
And then she looks at me and she's like, okay, so we're going to go ahead and actually move you upstairs. And I was like, you're going to move me? Like, why? And she explains that basically they have a quieter, nicer area. Like, it was up on, like 3 floors up. And
right, so we're moving out of an ER into a ward?
And I ended up finding out it's called the retreat program, but basically, like, you get your own bathroom, you get a room to yourself, the groups are better. It's basically just a calmer environment for people that aren't as, like, severe and symptomatic, essentially, outwardly.
Oh, well, this is a lovely setup.
Because there were people with, like, a lot of, like, violent outbursts and stuff. Like, it was... The first floor I was on was pretty intense. So me and a girl get transferred up there. I get moved into my own room, and I get kind of settled in, and then I proceeded to stay for another 5 days. It was...
Wasn't she just shitting on American healthcare? You know what? Whatever. You tell your story, Rosie, because you're all over the place.
It is a really healing experience. I ended up getting put on Abilify, Cymbalta, and then they agreed to add 10x back because I have discussed 10x in the past as an ADHD medication. So I've gone from not being medicated to being on 3 medications, and they did a slow step up. They added one, added the other. Then they increased the doses of the Cymbalta and the Abilify. So I'm on like the lower treatment doses for those right now. And I've never felt better. I don't feel groggy. I don't feel numb. I don't feel zonked out. I don't feel like a zombie. I don't have nearly as much depression. I am far more focused. I am not as chronically overwhelmed. My pain is less because my emotionality has improved.
What's that word? Lily, thank you for the super chat, honey. Lily says helpless incompetence comes to mind.
And I'm not as quick to go up and down in my emotions.
I do find that entire gurney kind of strange with the prescription. Like, she had said she'd been working with a doctor and a therapist who had both moved out of town, and then she'd gone to the ER and been given 3 different prescriptions, and now everything's hunky-dory. I'm surprised that those conversations hadn't come up with the healthcare professionals outside of the ER/hospital, but who am I?
And I feel like me again.
Morning, Deb.
And that's an amazing thing. And I met some really incredible people while I was there, and I feel like I learned a lot, and it was so funny. Like, during one of the rec groups, it was one of the first times we had, like, music.
Oh, Lisa, good to see you, honey. Thank you for the super chat. Lisa says, I want to use emotionality in a sentence today. Let's look it up. That might be a crossword word in the future. Emotionality. Emotionality is a person's degree of emotional expression, reactivity, and experience encompassing both observational behaviors and internal feelings. It's a personality trait that can be influenced by genes and can be observed in everyday life, from intense personal experiences to interactions in terms and leadership. Understanding one's own emotionality is crucial for self-awareness and can impact how individuals respond to stresses and relate to others. Aha. Okay. It just sounds like we put extra sounds on emotion, but okie dokie. Now we know. That's going to be on the crossword.
We actually did like a karaoke, because sometimes karaoke is done as music therapy. And so no one else wanted to sing, like no one else was interested in singing. And so
What is this story?
I picked a song, and I think my first song was like my go-to, Adele, Make You Feel My Love. You know, I posted about that song when I did karaoke in the past. And I sang that song, and like everyone was like complimenting me so much. Like even like afterwards, there were other patients like when we were just hanging out, like you sing so well. Da, da, da. And I'm so used to being told how bad of a singer I am. And like I know I'm not
No one asked. What is this?
like incredible or whatever, but like they were just so supportive and sweet. And it was literally like there were people that were sitting in different rooms and they ended up coming in even though they weren't
Sky, no, I've never seen her karaoke. Oh, the law.
going to participate, coming in and listening to me sing. And I literally held a concert in the psych ward. I called it a Rosie concert because like no one, I kept being like, does anyone want to pick a song? Because like you have the opportunity to listen to music too.
Oh my god, could you imagine being in a psych ward and fucking Rosie's there trying to strum up a crowd to Adele.
You don't want to sing.
Girl!
Does anyone pick a song? And they were just like, no one. And there was like 8 or 9 people in the room. And they all just listened to me sing. I sang like a different...
Captured audience is the phrase you're looking for. Captured audience. You're in a fucking ward, girl. These people can't go anywhere. They're trapped.
Evanescence songs and Halsey songs. And I just started picking random ones because I was just like, I don't even know.
Fucking karaoke in a hospital ward. Take me out. I would not enjoy that.
But it was so cool. And we had other opportunities to listen to music as well and just sing and stuff. And that was always like the highlight of my day whenever we got to do that.
Oh my god. Otis, I did just see the pans jammed up under the cabinet there. That's so fun.
And like the food was surprisingly good.
Don't make me sing.
Like especially for a hospital.
Chat, if you were trapped in a psych ward in a hospital, what would be your go-to karaoke song? It'd have to be something really loud.
They kept us well fed, and it was kind of...
Or a musical number. Someone mentioned High School Musical before. I could see we're all in this together being a real crowd pleaser.
Cool. And we had other opportunities to listen to music as well.
Or maybe Cabaret.
And just sing and stuff, and that was always like the highlight of my day whenever we got to do that. And
WAP. WAP is the right answer.
And
yeah.
Like the food was surprisingly good, like especially for a hospital. They kept us well fed, and it was kind of nice getting into a routine.
Chat, for whoever said It's Raining Men, or Set Fire to the Rain is good. For whoever said It's Raining Men, did you all know that the Weather Girls have a second song? The Weather Girls sing the original It's Raining Men. They have a follow-up Christmas song, which is a banger, and y'all should listen to it because it's Christmas in like 3 months' time.
I slept pretty decent most of the time I was there. I did wake up here and there and, you know, had some troubles with that, I feel, but...
Oh, Pink, You're Just Like a Pill. Now I'm thinking of like healthcare-related songs. That's fun.
The food was surprisingly good, like especially for a hospital. They kept us well fed.
Crazy by Niles Barkley. That was a good one.
I don't even know. But it was so cool. And we had other opportunities to listen to music as well and just sing and stuff. And that was always like the highlight of my day whenever we got to do that. And like the food was surprisingly good. Like
the Weather Girls' second song is called Dear Santa, Bring Me a Man This Christmas, in parentheses. It was released in 1983. It has a fabulous music clip, and you all should go watch it on YouTube after the stream ends. Or now, if you'd prefer. That's fine. Also, Rosie, what are we doing with these pauses?
Songs and Halsey songs, and I just started picking random ones because I was just like, I don't even know. But it was so cool. And we had other opportunities to listen to music as well and just sing and stuff. And that was always like the highlight of my day whenever we got to do that. And like the food was surprisingly good, like especially for a hospital. They kept us well fed, and
she brought up the food heaps of times before as well, Asha. I don't get it.
It was kind of nice
Mambo number 5 on repeat. The Nut Bush.
Getting into a routine.
Hey, VB, good to see you.
I slept pretty decent most of the time I was there. I did wake up here and there and, had some troubles with that, I feel, but for the most part, I'm just doing really good. And I met some really great people, really amazing women with incredible stories. Almost the entire time I was there, it was like all women in the unit, which it's a co-ed unit, so...
The way she's telling this story as if it's summer camp, like, we're in a psych ward in a hospital.
Yeah, I still have a lot to figure out, which is part of the reason why I am going to be on a leave. Like, she put me on a leave, I'm staying on a leave, because tomorrow I've got a lot to do. So I will be doing a short-term disability leave again, but this time it's going to be much shorter. I will not be on a leave nearly as long as I was last time, because I think that...
She keeps saying a leave, and I'm thinking it's like Panadol.
I think this changes things. I'm not going to know for a while in terms of, like, my physical pain and, like, the nerve pain, how those things are going to go.
Psych ward, Camp Rock. Yeah, exactly. Camp Rock.
But in terms of up here, in terms of the anxiety, in terms of a lot of the things that were causing...
Oh, that would be a fun one to play. Don't choose anxiety. Yeah, that'd be fun.
...me a lot of stress and struggle. I'm not cured. I'll never be cured, but I feel like I'm treated. Finally.
Again, girl, I don't understand. You were in treatment management prior to this breakdown, which it seems to be she got yelled at work, which led to a panic attack, which led to a psychotic... I don't know if it was a psychotic break, but we went to the hospital and went to a ward for like 5 or 6 days. A little Sky, yeah.
I don't even know what to say to that. I feel like Rosie.
All right. Oh, you guys.
I feel like Rosie.
Are you jazzed?
I don't feel like I'm consumed by my trauma or my depression or my anxiety or I feel like Rosie.
Great. Meryl Streep who, bitch? Panda! No, I feel like Panda!
I feel amazing on that front. So
that's good.
Anyway, I think today's the 16th. I need to probably get this edited and thrown up because some of you guys have already noticed me missing, which I appreciate that. I was surprised. I was like, comments like, where are you? Are you okay? Are you okay? And I'm like, I was only gone for 6 days, so I didn't realize people would even notice. And I wanted to handle this differently. I didn't want to, like, make it a big spectacle. I didn't want to, like, be like, oh, because, like, I took a picture of myself. I might put it up. I might not. But I took a picture of myself when I was in the ambulance to send specifically.
Fuck off. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. This is so frustrating. This is so frustrating. I am very grateful and thankful and touch wood that I have not needed the, like, assistance of emergency healthcare professionals while suffering, like, a mental health episode, but holy fucking shit! What are you talking about? You took a selfie in the fucking ambulance. Yeah, you guys, I just had a major panic attack. We called the ambulance. I was on the way to the hospital, and, you know...
I was only gone for 6 days, so I didn't realize people would even notice. And I wanted to handle this differently. I didn't want to, like, make it a big spectacle. I didn't want to, like, be like, oh, because, like...
I did get a selfie, though.
I took a picture of myself. I might put it up. I might not. But I took a picture of myself.
Felt cute breaking down.
When I was in the ambulance to send specifically to my best friend. I wasn't going to post it publicly, like, on Instagram in the moment. Like, I knew that because I was just like, I'm not going to do that. But I took a picture. And then I went to go text it. And I looked at it and I went, oh, my God. I don't know if I'm going to do that. So I actually ended up texting her. I was like, hey, I took a picture. Do you still want me to send it? Because it's, like, a lot. And so...
Meanwhile, she's just suffered a panic attack and is in an ambulance screaming its way to a hospital. Hey girl, I just took a photo and, like, it's a lot. I'd love to send it to you, but I'm just not sure. Is that, like, okay. Girl, you're taking me out of the fantasy. Taking me out of the lie.
Oh, I did, because I look so fucking broken. I was just...
Chat, I'm going to say something controversial yet brave here. She just kind of looks like how she always looks. She looks like she's just gotten out of a pool. Also, girl, I know that at the start of this story time you were saying how, like, you only had one set of clothes or whatever, but this is the same set. So did you just get home? Did you want to take a shower? Maybe change the clothes? I don't know if they did her laundry because I see stains on this shirt. So I don't know. She's also got an IV in her hand. What's the IV for? There's so many questions.
I broke. I finally just broke. Like, I just kept trying to strong arm everything, push through, until I couldn't.
Right.
And then I got help. And I'm beyond ecstatic.
Yeah, this is filmed after the hospital stay. It must have been the day she got back. She didn't want to have a shower or, like, change into PJs or something cozy.
Beyond ecstatic that I found some medications that worked for me. So I've already dropped off the scripts, and I'm trying to not think about how much the medical bills are going to be. But the good news is I did hit my deductible.
Oh.
So I might owe a fuck ton of money to the hospital, but I hit my deductible, so my follow-up care won't be as bad.
Oh, yeah. What's that like? Spending 5 or 6 days in a hospital? That's got to be expensive.
I just gotta smile through it, you know? So I'm gonna get this up because pretty soon I'm gonna need to... There's a lot of stuff I have to go through in my fridge because I pulled out some stuff like a couple days before I went and did all that. So I have to do a lot of food prep and like freeze stuff. And I might have to throw some shit away anyway, which just, it is what it is. But I'm gonna do my best on that front. And then...
Wait, didn't we just start this stream off by you telling us that your mum said if you don't, like, contribute to the household, we're gonna have to sell the farm or whatever? And now we've got a big old hospital bill due, I'm assuming? Huh. Well, I guess she's solving problems her own way.
And well, because of the day that I ended up getting hospitalized, I didn't have time to postpone my home chef, so I received another one today.
Oh, no.
And I was still working on... I didn't even make the ones from last week, so I have like a lot of food to deal with. So I will be prepping certain meals and freezing them and then eating some off of that. So yeah, anyway, point is, I actually lost some weight because I had like, prior to this, when I was spiraling, I had some situations with binges. Like I had a week that was kind of insane in terms of my eating behaviors. But since then, I've already dropped that back down. So that's sick. And I had prior, like right before getting hospitalized, like 5 days before, I started tracking and like being more conscious of what I was eating. So when she weighed me from like the peak weight that I had hit to the weight I was back down to, which I'm back down to my lowest, I had lost like 5 kilograms in the span of that time just by like losing the water weight and all that. So yeah, man, it's been quite a journey. But if this shit is working as well as I think it is, and it continues on, because I've only been medicated for like 5 days or so. So like I know
this was like 11 or 12 months ago at this point in time, but I do wonder whether or not she was able to, like, find consistency in the prescribed medication or the care or just getting the script. Because I'm assuming if you get this is an assumption, but I'm assuming in this situation where you're in a ER/ward/hospital, you're not going to have a very long-running script for the pills that they've given you. But anyway, this was 11 months ago, so who knows where we're at now. Now we're at dump cake and... What did we cook the other day? Oh, dump cake and barbecue fucking sauce spaghetti. Get out of here.
Abilify is fast-acting, and same with 10X. Cymbalta, I don't know. But I'm not having major negative side effects, which is huge for me. Huge. Huge. I'm geeked, I'm gacked, I'm gooked. Like, oh my god. Amazing. So... Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go get this imported and edited, like, immediately. I've been wearing this dress for 5 days, by the way.
Ah, yeah, girl, no, this is not the energy I would have had coming home from a hospital after 5 days. I would have gone and had a shower, and then gotten, like, my coziest, like, sweatpants, and maybe a hoodie, or just, like, a really soft t-shirt. I won't be wearing this nylon disaster for 5 days. Oh, God, imagine. Oh, wait, weren't you mad at that other place about not having something that fit you? You were... Hold the phone. This is such a weird thing to pick up. You were mad at the mental hospital for only washing your clothes on day 2 or day 3 or whatever the hell it was. Meanwhile, you're over here stinking up a ward with this poly blend nightmare for 5 days. And you're gooped, you're gagged, you're gooning. That seems strange. Also, you're in the... hold on, you're in this house as well. Is Brosy here at this point in time? Could he have come and dropped you off some nice pajamas or something? I have so many questions, and I'm just glad I can't smell through the screen.
So now that I know well, shit. I still have to run to the pharmacy. Fuck it. I'm changing anyway. I'm getting out of this outfit, and I'm gonna wear something different. But yeah, I've been wearing... I mean, they did wash this...
It's because orange isn't her color. She hated the sheet.
...outfit for me multiple times, but this is all I had. All I had on me was what I took to work, so... Whew. Man, oh man, oh my, oh my.
Again, Brosy, like, is here. Brosy could have brought you some laundry, no? Like, what was going on?
Yeah.
She clearly had access to communicate to people because she was sending the photo to her friend. This bullshit doesn't add up. Does it? It's giving lies. It's giving lies. It's giving untruths. It's giving poor storytelling. I don't trust this. Lottie says, Brosy was here. This was around the time she tried to set him up on a date. He's asked she doesn't try to help his love life anymore. Valid. Was it Nutty Jess by any chance? Ooh, drama.
So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go. I hope y'all have a great day.
Yeah, I'm so curious as to why Brosy couldn't bring something, or like, I don't know, get an Uber to drop something off to her. Anything? I have so many questions. I don't trust this storytelling. I do not trust it.
A wonderful evening wherever you are, and stay true. Bye, guys.
Okay, welcome to me. All right, chat, we're done. My butt's asleep. Lottie has sent us through some potential rewatch content for some streams, so that'll be fun when we get to it. But I'm gonna go for now because I'm tired today. Today's been a long day. So thank you all so much for being here. For those of you on the rewatch, thank you for your comments, opinions, and eyeballs. If you'd like to hit the like button on the way out, that would be fabulous. Please make sure you brush your hair and your teeth, wash your face, get your steps in, hug a loved one, don't be a dumpster fire on the internet, make good choices, be good people. I think you're great. Thank you for making me laugh, and thank you for watching nonsense on the internet with me every day. I appreciate it. I'm gonna go. So I will see you all in the next video and or live stream.